Hey everyone, it's Sam from West Virginia Overtime, Paranormal Review, and Wrestling Overtime. Yes, you heard that right. 3 podcasts. I started West Virginia Overtime in October of 2019 and then started the other 2 on January 1st of this year. And they've been going well. But what I wanted to do was take the time to update the 3 different podcast communities about what my immediate plans are. You want to stay tuned until the end to hear the big news. I want to first apologize to all of you. I have been recording sporadically since March 13th. The pandemic of COVID-19 and the loss of sports, well, it kind of got me down, and I think several of you have noticed in the episodes that I've done. And then after that, I had some problems with my vitamin D levels and got extremely fatigued. My levels got down to 12, and that is obviously not good. But I recently sat down and kind of took some time and wanted to rejuvenate myself and all 3 podcast communities. So I decided that July 1st, today, is the new start of 2020, and I'm not going to worry about any of it. I'm going to take it as it comes. So let's kind of start talking about what's coming up and what's been happening. I've started writing on medium.com, and you're going to be seeing links from different articles on the Twitter and Facebook pages for each of your podcasts, especially articles based on what the podcast topic is. Some of them will be standalone topics, and others will be based on episode topics. I also have been writing for American Betting Experts. So occasionally you're going to see links from there about what my picks are going to be. Right now I'm concentrating on NASCAR and West Virginia sports betting. We'll see what comes with the fall and winter sports and what sports I pick up to start writing as those seasons come aboard. Now, let's talk about each one of the podcasts. On Wrestling Overtime, you can expect breakdowns of each episode of WWE Raw, Impact, NXT, AEW, and WWE SmackDown. Now, occasionally I may do some New Japan wrestling, especially if John Moxley, Chris Jericho, Gallows and Anderson, someone like that goes over there for a special match. I would also like to put out at least 2 news and update episodes a week, and then an occasional opinion episode like I did earlier this year on Tessa Blanchard. Now, I want to note that Tessa Blanchard episode you can go back and listen to on Wrestling Overtime, and I said Tessa Blanchard's contract was coming up in June, and if she wanted to stay a big fish in a small pond, then she would re-sign with Impact. But look for her to sign with WWE or AEW. And in that episode, I said she needs to sign with AEW. So let's look and see if that comes true. Now, all of this should start up on Monday, July 6th. So definitely be looking for an episode then. You may get one before then, but definitely start looking for episodes Wrestling Overtime on Monday, July 6th. If you want to write me, as always, you can write me at wrestlingovertime@gmail.com. Now, on Paranormal Review, I was trying to keep up with all the new shows as they came out. But then the Travel Channel and A&E just overwhelmed me. They slammed me with a lot of new shows. So what I hope to do is rotate shows and give better reviews of those shows with less play-by-play, more synopsis, less play-by-play on them. So I also want to do an episode on history of locations, episodes, paranormal locations. A lot of you wrote in that you absolutely loved the part where I did the history of the Conjuring House. Now, for those of you who are saying, what are you talking about? I didn't hear the history of the Conjuring House. What you need to do is go to Paranormal Review podcast and look for the Ghost Adventures Halloween special episode. I think it's either episode 4 or 5. As you turn that episode on and start listening to it, it immediately starts into the history of the Conjuring House. And since so many of you liked it and are always looking for different locations to go, I think I'm going to start that. So what I'm shooting for is 1 show review and 1 location review a week. Now, I look for that to be starting next week. I'm not going to give you an exact date, but I'm shooting for Tuesday. You guys can always write me at paranormalreviewpod@gmail.com. Now, pod is singular, so it's paranormalreviewpod@gmail.com. Now, West Virginia Overtime, I have not forgotten about you. What I'm going to do is, starting out, I'm going to be doing some more basic coaching episodes, like I have already completed on how to build a team using the ice example and then the iceberg example. So I'm going to continue with those. I may do some pro breakdowns as they start back. Some of you wrote me and said, since West Virginia sports aren't happening right now, why don't you do breakdown on like the WVU football team or Marshall's football team? Or since baseball's starting back, why don't you do a breakdown on the Cincinnati Reds? I am thinking about that. I'm just going to be real honest with you. Cincinnati Reds is not the baseball team that I follow, so I would have to do a lot of research on that, so it won't be next week. However, I may start doing some pro breakdowns, but as high school starts back, then I want to go back to our weekly news and updates from around the state, what's happening in the different sports, whether it be soccer, volleyball, cross country, golf, or football. And then I would also like to do maybe a prediction show before Football Friday. So you guys can write me with any topics or anything that you want to hear at it's WVOvertime@gmail.com. A lot of you have hit me up on Facebook Messenger. You can do that also. Now, here is a little bit of the big news. I am looking into getting some press credentials because I want to cover some press conferences. As many of you know, in each one of the podcast areas, they have press conferences. And I would actually like to be on the phone asking some of the questions you guys want answers to. So I'm looking into getting press credentials so that when the WVSSAC has press conferences, then I can ask questions and cover that. When WWE and AEW have press conferences or scrums after their pay-per-views, that I can be asking Triple H, and it's usually Tony Khan or Cody, questions about the pay-per-view and where their company is going. And I have also written Travel Channel because I want to see what they would need in order for me to get at least their press releases delivered or attend any press conferences they have concerning new paranormal shows that they've got coming up. However, the big news that I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of and what I've been thinking of is the fact that I want to be able to talk to you. Yeah, I know I do on podcasts. On each episode, I'm talking to you, but I want you to be able to talk back. I know a lot of you out there write me on either Facebook posts or Twitter, or like I said, Facebook Messenger, or you guys even email. I want to thank all of you who have emailed me, especially you guys on paranormalreviewpod@gmail.com and asking how I was. I really appreciate that. But I want to be able to talk to you guys live. So for the last couple of weeks, I was like, how to do this, because I know a lot of you don't have Facebook, and so you can't get on Facebook Live, and a lot of you don't have Periscope, so you can't get on it. And so I didn't really know what to do. So I just decided to go live on all of them. And I found some software where you guys can go in a chat room, talk to me, and I can see it, and we can respond back and forth, and you guys can talk to each other. So we're going to be trying that. Yes, I know some of you are in different time zones. So I am going to be trying some different times. I did a test run on this June 21st. Some of you may have saw it. Some of you may not have. But it was just a test, and it was a fairly successful test. So what I want you guys to be aware of is you're going to be able, when I get this set up, I will send out an announcement on that podcast community's page, whether it be Facebook or Twitter, so that you guys will know, hey, Sam's going live. And you get on whatever platform you like. So you can find me on Twitch under Coach Sayre. That's Sayre. If you use Periscope, then I'm under Samantha L. Sayre. If you want to find me on YouTube, I'm under Samantha Sayre. All podcast episodes are also under that YouTube name. If you want to listen to the back catalog of Wrestling Overtime, it's on Samantha Sayre YouTube. So you can find all episodes there. If you're on Facebook, you of course can find me under Samantha L. Sayre. And on LinkedIn, I'm under Samantha Sayre. Now, if you guys watch anywhere else, then you're going to have to write me and let me know, hey, I want you on Mixer. I want you on Daily Motion. Wherever you guys, whatever platform you use. However, afterwards, after the live event is over, what I'll do is I'll take and retweet the video to the podcast page that is on Twitter or Facebook. So I may be going live right now. And after I'm done, then I would take that and post it on West Virginia Overtime. if in an hour I was going live about Paranormal Review, then after that live is over, I would post it on Paranormal Review's page, Facebook and Twitter, so that way you can see it after the fact and see what we talked about. However, you won't be able to talk to me live. So the plan is I'm going to go live about the state of WWE, both Raw and SmackDown, on this Friday or early Saturday morning. We're talking like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And then we'll be doing the state of Impact Wrestling, the state of NXT, the state of AEW throughout the weekend. I will let you know those times on Wrestling Overtime's Facebook and Twitter pages, and you guys can just drop in and give me your feelings about the state of them. West Virginia Overtime. I'm looking at going live sometime Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure exactly of the time. Again, I'll post it on West Virginia Overtime's Facebook and Twitter page. And I'm going to be talking about COVID-19 and the start of the 3-week practice period that some counties have chosen to start on July 6th, which is Monday. Some of them are going to be starting the following week, which is going to be July 13th. But we're going to be talking about COVID, how it affects sports, and what the WVSSAC has said about how to keep kids safe. Now, Paranormal Review. You guys are the hardest to figure out when to go live because a lot of you are overseas. And you're stuck overseas, whether it be Europe or Australia or wherever. So you guys can always hit me up and write me a time that would be best for you. What I'm looking at right now is late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Again, that would be, 11 p.m. Saturday night to maybe 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Those are Eastern Standard Times. I'm kind of looking around that time. So I hope this helps each podcast community connect with me. And what I see in the future is going live after, like for West Virginia Overtime, going live after Football Friday nights. Or after big sports games, like big soccer game that would be happening on Wednesday, going live later that Wednesday night and talking about that rivalry and, what happened in the game or maybe going live before a big cross-country meet and talking about who to look for, what you can expect, what the track looks like, different things like that. And then for Wrestling Overtime, looking at going live after pay-per-views, obviously, and for Paranormal Review, going live after the debut of the start of a paranormal show, or if they're having a big episode, such as obviously tomorrow night's, Thursday night's Ghost Adventures episode, where Zach says this time he's going to open the Dybbuk box. We'll see if he does. But anyway, so I want you guys to let me know what you guys think of all this. So let me give you the email addresses again. WestVirginiaOvertime@gmail.com, WrestlingOvertime@gmail.com, and ParanormalReviewPod@gmail.com. We are on all podcasting platforms for free. So if you're listening to this and you've been listening to Paranormal Review, but you're also liking pro wrestling, feel free to subscribe to us or follow whatever your podcast platform has you do, and listen to us on that too. All this information is gonna be on your Facebook or Twitter page, and it should be in the show notes of this particular podcast. I look forward to talking to you guys in the meantime. I'm going to get back to working overtime for you, the fan. So I'll talk to you guys soon.